What's up, guys? So we are out here on another run yelling over the trade so y'all can hear us and hear my beautiful voice as we're talking to you. So without further ado, we will go into today's topic, and that is staying motivated, staying alive, right? Like that song by the Bee Gees. And you know, it's what exactly you want to do in life, right? You have these goals that you want to accomplish. You want to be successful, quote unquote, and along the way you got to stay motivated, right? Because if you're not, then you're gonna get distracted, right? You're gonna be pulled off your center, and you know, achieving those dreams that you got to get, it's gonna be harder. So you know, without further ado, we are gonna help you by giving you 4 ways to stay motivated. Right, stay on it, stay on par, stay on task. And you know, without further ado, we will go into tip number 1, and that is to find what drives you, find your passion, right? Because underneath every success story is, you know, a purpose, right? Those people had passion, they had something that drove them towards what they wanted to get. And you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be something crazy out of this world, you know, but something different, right? You don't have to want to go and try to end world hunger and, you know, stop everybody or anybody in the world from being hungry, right? Obviously that's a crazy awesome goal, but find something small if you have to, and keep thinking about it and expand upon it, because you know, from that you are going to be able to find a reason why, more and more, you know, ways how you're going to find it more and more easier to get what you want, right? Because you're going to have things to push you, things to drive you, right? We're not robots. We don't wander around aimlessly and are able to do everything to our fullest potential, right? We need, you know, a source of motivation. We're emotional creatures. We need something to drive us. And you know, in order to find that motivation, you're gonna find your passion, right? What are you passionate about, right? For some, it's sports. Others, it's finance, right? Whatever it is that drives you, figure out what it is, right? You know, take a long walk if you have to, and really stop and think, right? Put your phone away if you got to, right? Turn off the TV and really sit and ruminate in your thoughts, right? And think, right? Don't get distracted, you know, by these sources of stimuli, and really think for yourself. And you know, you might be amazed with what you come up with, right? Awesome things that you didn't think were possible, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that you got to go and achieve all these things, but you know, the mere fact that you're going after it, you're chasing it, you're pursuing it, is going to be what drives you and keeps you motivated. So once you got that passion, you know, we will go into tip number 2 as far as staying motivated, and that is to write it down. Right? Put it on a piece of paper and really, you know, I really have, you know, some evidence, right, as far as committing to what it is that you're doing. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna give you something to reflect upon, right? When times are tough, when you don't have, you know, oh, and our voice cracked, we don't exactly have, you know, all 100% of your motivation going, right? You don't feel the fire in your eyes, but it burns out every so often. You have, you know, that thing, that piece of paper, that notebook, right? That whiteboard that you got to look at, and it's gonna keep you going. I personally have a whiteboard in my room, a huge one, and you know, every time something striking comes across my mind, I write it down. And you know, from that, I've written down some things that I've forgotten about completely, but I'm able to look at them weeks, months, and in certain cases years later, and remember, you know, what it was. And it makes me happy, and it allows you to see the progress you've made over time. And you know, that's another thing too as well, and that will be tip number 3 as far as staying motivated. That is to track your progress, right? See how far you came, right? Because if you just go about your business just doing it, you can lose motivation, because it can feel like you're doing it for no reason, right? It can seem like you've made no progress when you actually have. You just haven't noticed it. And one thing you could do is create little milestones along the way, right? You got to realize, you know, that on the way to becoming the CEO or the business owner and so forth, a lot of people had to move up the ladder, or they had, you know, to take those baby steps, right? Introduce the product, right? Get it pitch it to these angels, investors, get their money, and keep it going, right? And keep growing that product until, you know, they become Apple or Microsoft, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It takes progress, but in those little stepping stones along the way, right? For companies that's getting that IPO, right, and getting it first on the market, right? That's a huge stepping stone. They celebrate that, right? Because it would be foolish for a huge company like Apple or Microsoft to not celebrate until today. But they know what they've done. They've been doing it for years and years. And every stepping stone, every milestone along the way, they're aware of it. They celebrate it. And that keeps them going, right? It reminds them who they are and what they are capable of. And if they keep going, they will just get more of that. That's what you need, because you know, that's what's gonna keep you going, right? Seeing that success over and over again is gonna remind you how awesome you are. And indeed, you are an awesome person, right? Because you're chasing your dreams, you're chasing that success, which so many people aren't. So, just by virtue of that, you should be thankful, right? Be grateful. And that is the third tip, right? Find joy, right? Find that inner peace, right? That's gonna keep you happy, because you know, it may not exactly be, you know, the end result, right? That new flashy car, that raise, and so forth, right? While those things are nice, you're gonna be happy in doing it, just to do it, right? You can't look for that happiness in that car or that outside thing, that end goal. So, you know, from that, you're gonna be able to stay motivated, right? From that joy, right? That inner happiness that you have, and simply doing the things to do them, right? You'll be able to stay on course instead, you know, simply worrying about what you're gonna get out of things, and you know, not have these short dreams, these short-lived experiences, because that can happen to a lot of people who fail and mess up and they just quit. And you know, that can happen to you if you're not motivated, right? Because you got to keep going, and you know, that's where the motivation comes in, to save you, to rescue you. So you know, we will go into the fourth tip as far as staying motivated, and that is to find a role model, right? Although contrary to the song No Role Models by J. Cole, right, you want to find one. You want to find a person or persons that inspire you, right? Someone at the top of their game, hopefully, right? Not someone at the bottom, because that wouldn't be good. And you know, from that, you'll be able to learn from them, right? Get direct experience as far as what they're doing, and you could simply copy them, right? Because you know what it is almost to be them, right? You have that third person experience, right? Living through the life by observing from the outside. And you know, if you're happy with what you see, it's going to be easier to stay motivated, right? To stay on par, on course, because you pretty much know the end result and the process. And it could easily seem so hard, but you can argue that it would seem worth it because it makes that vision in your mind much clearer. And you need that to stay motivated, because if that vision blurs up, right, you lose that sight of what it is to be accomplishing your task. You're gonna lose that motivation. So, along with these 3 other tips as far as staying motivated, we hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully like, comment, subscribe for more videos just like this. So for this, we say thank you and goodbye.